is part 2 of my room makeover.
Woo!
Plushy mushrooms! Did we just unintentionally say it the same way? Did we just like...
Yes, you did.
Oh my
I
God.
enjoyed it.
So... the goal is to turn the pink hodgepodge of 9-year-old me into a magical forest, I guess.
Last week, we painted murals on your walls, and this week we are doing what?
Decorations.
Yep,
And
so...
mushroom pillows.
and many, many mushroom pillows.
Yes!
All the mushroom pillows.
So the first step to making the mushroom plushies was to make patterns for the mushrooms. So I looked online and I found some that I liked, and then I modified them for our purposes and printed them, and you guys cut them out. So the patterns had pieces for the top of the mushroom, and then the gills of the mushroom underneath, and then the stem of the mushroom. And so you guys were cutting out all of the pieces for all of the parts. We had several different sizes and shapes and versions, and then we started cutting the fabric. So it was tracing the patterns onto the fabric or pinning patterns to the fabric depending on what the fabric was. We're making 3 different kinds of mushrooms. You'll recognize them from last week's video where Tyler made all 3 types of mushrooms into people.
We've got the Inky Cap, the Indigo Milk Cap, and the third one.
Yeah, the red ones with the white spots are Amanita muscaria. Amanita is the name of the mushroom doll. Is that what you said, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Delightful's doll Amanita that we painted in our mural is named after the same mushroom. Here's Ty cutting out the spots for the red ones. We had a lot of fur. Boy, oh boy, was it sheddy. We cut all the fur last because I wanted to make sure that we get the mess all...
I bit my tongue while making weird noises.
You would never
do that.
You would never.
You wouldn't do that.
Then it was time to sew the mushrooms together. So step 1 is sewing the tops together. So you have to line up your edges and sew down the edges to get the dome shape. We had some that were 1 piece in the pattern and just had like a dart sewn in. And then we had some that were 4 pieces. So this is all leftover fabric from various other projects. So we've got bits of old theatrical curtains that people gave to me to make props with once upon a time, and there were scraps left over, and there's bits of old costumes that I made for shows, and there's lots of just leftover scrap fabric. The red mushrooms, the Amanita muscaria, those are made out of the leftover fabric from the dress that my Nana made for me when I was in high school for my high school graduation. It's nice and soft, very nice for a nice plushy mushroom. And then once all of the tops were sewn together, then we sewed the stem piece to the bottom of the mushroom top piece. So that was just a matter of sewing around the inner circle. We kind of got lucky because the fabric that we had that were appropriate for the bottoms of the mushrooms were all kind of stiff. There was this fur fabric, and then there was some other thicker, not stretchy materials, and then the fabric that we used for the stems was a stretchy material, which I think made it a lot easier to sew those pieces together. Then before sewing the top to the bottom, I sewed the spots onto the red ones, and on the inky caps, I sewed the little white floofies on the top. White drippies? What are they? White?
Feathers.
Pinning the top to the bottom was an adventure because there was so much floof everywhere, but we got there. This is one of the little mushrooms. Look at that. It looks like a sea anemone or something. Like, it's so strange, but that's how you pin it together for that, to sew the top to the bottom. This was making the drippy ink for the inky caps. So I just folded over a piece and then just sewed a wiggly line on it to get those inky drips. The inky cap was really hard because when I'm pinning it together, not only is it the top and the bottom where it was already kind of awkward and weird, but then that inky part had to be sewn in between. So there's the top gets laid down, and then all the ink got wrapped around. See that? You can't because it's black on black. So, but it's there, I swear. That's ink.
That's the little drippy bits.
Yeah, that's the little drippy. So there's the drippy bits, and then the bottom goes on top of the drippy bits. And then it all gets sewn together in one little happy mushroom sandwich. So I was doing some research, and it turns out, you know how in last week's video we were talking about how the inky cap mushrooms dissolve themselves? They've got a chemical that dissolves themselves, and that's why they're drippy, is because they're dissolving their own flesh.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out the reason is so that they expose their spores so that the wind can more readily spread their spores. So I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
The Indigo Milk Cap
Special because they're blue.
can also bleed, which is normal for the milk cap.
Yeah, the milk caps all ooze when they get cut.
Yeah.
Big goop.
But this time it's blue.
Blue goop. Oh, and did you know that the inky drippy from the inky cap was used as ink?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, the red ones with the white spots are Amanita muscaria. If you eat them, then they can cause sleepiness and also hallucinations.
They can also make you sick if you don't cook them properly. They won't kill you, they'll just make you nauseous.
So this is cutting out some pieces of some very old Ed Crate mattress to make a toadstool for Tyler's guitar corner. These are some scrap pieces of 1/4-inch MDF that we had, and I was layering them up because I wanted some more structural stability than just 1/4-inch MDF. And so I glued them together and clamped them together. And then this is the base of the stool. It's just two 2x4s inside of a 6-inch PVC pipe. And then I screwed the top and the bottom to those 2x4s. Then stuck the egg crate on top, and then covered it in a layer of felt and stapled that down, and then covered in a layer of red fabric and stapled that down. And then I made this sneaky tube of fur to make the gills underneath it, because you wanted a flat stool, so I wanted to give it a little bit of extra dimension underneath there with squishy gills.
Well, gill things also cover up the staples.
It does. This is actually the recording hallway. This is actually where we're sitting right now. We're sitting on the teal bench, recording the audio for the video. We stuck the recording stuff in Tyler's hallway because she has this bonus chunk of her room. We got really lucky because this house, we bought it with Grandma and Granddad, and there's a lot of space, lots of storage and space. The house was in rough shape, but as far as space, it's big. We've done a lot of work.
My birthday is coming up. Grandma and Granddad got the curtains and bedspread for me. My grandma and Grandpa Pokey got the throw blanket and the green pillows. And my uncles got me the chair.
The chair's nice because it's basically the only thing in that room that isn't a hand down. Everything else in there was pretty much a hand down. Sam, where are you going?
Sit on the chair. Real quick. It's super comfy.
It is super comfy.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a very nice chair. I love how the mushroom plushies turned out.
Yeah.
I like cuddling with them. Just go on the couch and cuddle the mushrooms.
Yeah,
We've got one big boy. It's a red one.
one of the Amanitas.
Yeah.
Is it your
Big.
favorite, the big boy?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make some more. I think we might have enough fabric. We can make one more big one, big boy. Or you could pick a different kind of mushroom. I'm pretty proud of us because we didn't buy a single thing. You know, family members bought things, but we didn't buy a single thing for this makeover. It was all old paint and old fabric.
And scrap wood and PVC pipes.
Yeah, recycled bits and pieces of a bunch of other projects. What do you think of your toadstool?
It's cute. It's comfy.
It's cute and comfy. I mean, I feel like that's a huge success. It's so funny to me. It's so funny. It's nice to have that pop of red on that side of the room.
That is a toadstool,
Mm-hmm.
and Ty sits on it.
Are you saying she's a toad?
Yeah.
Here's the before and after shots. It wasn't bad before, it just wasn't you anymore.
Wasn't the vibe.
Yeah, so you're happy with it now?
Yeah. again.
Yeah. Wait, Mom, record this.